Welcome to Behind the Lines, coming to you from the socialist, Marxist lines of Washington State. It's a crazy liberal petri dish for the rest of the country, folks. Stay up to date with all the great news right here. Hey guys, today is Friday, November 13th. Welcome to Behind the Line. Today we're talking about the failure of the states to pay their unemployment benefits to people who have been out of work for months. There was a story that came out yesterday from the Oregonian about a school bus driver that was paid thousands of dollars in unemployment benefits and is now being asked by the Oregon Employment Department to pay it all back. The Oregon Employment Department says it knows of 1,500 people who have been overpaid for one or more weeks of benefits. This bus driver has been driving a school bus for several years. She said she was laid off due to the pandemic and collected unemployment benefits through June. In June, though, it was thrown into a review process known as adjudication, and this seems to be happening quite a bit with people in Washington and Oregon, where they claim they have to review unemployment claims or verify their identity, and they get denied benefits and get the runaround, and nothing ever gets paid out. Sterling said, the bus driver, that she had waited months without an answer from the employment department about her claim. Meanwhile, of course, bills are piling up, credit cards are going up because she has no money coming in. In September, Sterling, the bus driver, said she found thousands of dollars in unemployment benefits had been deposited into her account. She thought those payments were for all the weeks her claim was in adjudication, and she used that money to pay off her bills and get caught up on everything. And then a few weeks ago, she got a call from an adjudicator informing her that they still needed to review her claim, and shortly after that got a letter saying her unemployment claim had been denied from June through September, and now they're saying that she has to pay that money back. And this is sort of a ongoing saga that you see for people in Oregon and Washington, where they just can't seem to get their act together and get people paid their money. You know, they shut the economy down, they tell you can't go to work, and then they refuse to pay benefits to these people who have no way of paying their bills. So a group called Working Washington, which is a labor-focused nonprofit, published a report this week. This was the week of October 8th. But anyway, alleging that Washington Unemployment Security Department has failed to provide benefits to tens of thousands of workers. In their report, they specify that the delays and errors in ESD's processes involve a practice where ESD automatically prevents payment on any claims it flags with errors, inconsistencies, or missing information, no matter how trivial and regardless of who is at fault of the error. If a clerical error is identified on the application, it can be flagged by ESD. A flagged application is either directed to the adjudication process or denied outright. ESD states on its website that most unemployment insurance applicants receive benefit checks or a decision explaining why they are not eligible within 3 weeks of their initial application, but supposedly that a small percentage of claims require additional fact-finding or adjudication to determine if the individual is eligible for benefits. ESD published a report back in April that a total of 787,533 individuals had filed for unemployment insurance since the week ending on March 7th, when COVID-19 job losses began. And following the launch of the additional benefits under the CARES Act passed by Congress, states saw the single largest week of claims in history, with nearly 1.5 million initial claims filed. And just for context, ESD said the week ending March 7th before the crisis hit, there were only 6,584 initial claims. So on May 11th, ESD launched a program called Operation 100%, an effort to resolve all claims that were submitted to ESD between March 8th and June 18th. But, of course, the way things go, that didn't happen until August 3rd, and they claim that all the claims in this Operation 100% initiative had been resolved. Meanwhile, during all this time, ESD sent $576 million to Nigerian fraudsters, which targeted Washington and several other states. So for some reason, they had no problem paying out. But apparently, working Washingtonians who need help get to sit around and wait. So when Operation 100% was announced, ESD said that roughly 57,000 individuals, or 7% of applicants, have been waiting, some for many weeks, for their claim to be approved. The specific aim of Operation 100 was to have 100% of flagged applications resolved or benefits paid by mid-June, but like I said, that didn't happen until August 3rd, they claim. Nevertheless, Working Washington says that the people profiled in its report should have been on the Operation 100 list, but had yet to be paid at the time of ESD's August 3rd announcement. In fact, the report says applicants are still waiting for their benefits. Some are still stuck in adjudication. Others have been incorrectly denied or received approval but never paid out. Some had their claims disqualified as a result of ESD's hasty fraud response measures, which used a profiling system to stop payments on 200,000 claims until a specialist could verify their identity. But again, go ahead and send $500 million to Nigerian fraudsters, no problem. Now, this part of their report is really frustrating. They talk about a restaurant server named Jose in Seattle who applied for unemployment insurance on April 2nd, but his claim was flagged and put into adjudication. Says he tried to get through to ESD in every way he could. He made thousands of calls, setting his alarm for 6:55 a.m. so he could start calling immediately when the phone lines opened up at 7. He would spend hours on hold, was hung up on, and he sent dozens of messages through ESD's web portal begging for answers. Finally, on June 7th, he got a call from a National Guard member staffing ESD's phone lines, but the agent was calling to inform him that if he continued sending messages, he would be blocked. He also told Jose that his claim had now been denied because his boss falsely claimed he was fired. When he was asked what to do about the false claim, he was told to apply for pandemic unemployment assistance. This is pretty typical of the state. I've had my own issues getting the runaround, no communication, no response to emails on other things when I owned a business for many years. It's just typical of the poor customer service and inability of state workers to do their jobs and to make sure that these people who should be getting paid are actually getting paid. So old Jose, he filed for this pandemic unemployment assistance, PUA, right after that. This account gets flagged on fraud prevention measures, and he was supposed to wait for an individual agent to verify his identity from that. Eventually got it verified, and he had to email a local legislator to make that happen. And 4 months after that was finally approved on July 25th. He still did not get paid, and his benefits continue to be denied. There's another story in this report about a marketing manager from Burien named Beth. She was in adjudication from March until September due to a clerical discrepancy because she moved from Oregon to Washington, and they said they didn't have a record of her working 680 hours. She had to file a joint claim in Oregon. She did all that. Of course, it took months and months. But eventually, because of the amount of time it took, it dragged on until the end of July, and ESD's calendar had entered a new quarter, making her ineligible for the PUA because she met the 680-hour requirement in her base year. So basically what you're getting is just the runaround from the government. And I don't know how all these people are surviving being out of work right now. They say 1 in 5 Americans are unemployed and not able to work because of the pandemic. And then you've got government agencies like this who should be taking care of the people because of the lockdown restrictions they've placed on everybody, and they're not doing their jobs. And this is concerning because you've got Biden coming into office probably in a few weeks, and his COVID-19 advisor is calling for a national lockdown lasting up to 6 weeks. And he's claiming the U.S. has a big pool of money to pay for lost wages. And this is a joke. I mean, the U.S. does not have a big pool of money available right now. This guy's name is Michael Osterholm, and he's an infectious disease expert. And he wants a New Zealand-style lockdown here in the U.S. Said that we could pay for a package right now to cover all of the wages, lost wages for individual workers, for losses to small companies, to medium-sized companies, or city, state, county governments. We could do all that. If we did that, then we could lock down for 4 to 6 weeks. He claims that we could really watch ourselves cruising into the vaccine availability in the first and second quarter of next year while bringing back the economy long before that. I don't know how you bring the economy back by making everybody stay home and closing all these businesses. And clearly, government is incapable of actually paying out money. I mean, the federal government sent out one stimulus check since this COVID started in March, $1,200. That doesn't pay for anything, even in 1 month, especially in these cities like Seattle and Portland where rent is sky high. That's not paying for anything. That's not helping anybody. The federal government, local government is incapable of getting their act together to take care of people. And yet here we are calling for this, shutting everything down. So I don't know what the answer is to this. It's going to be really bad if we shut the entire country down again and put more people out of work. I guess my advice to you is to contact your local legislators by email and phone like every day and tell them they need to put pressure on departments like unemployment and other agencies that should be paying out and make them do their jobs and make them realize that people are suffering and something's got to be done about it. And we're about to head into what sounds like another period of more suffering and more unemployment and more people unable to pay their bills. Well, folks, that's it. I hope you have a happy Friday the 13th. We'll talk to you next time.